Hey everyone, and welcome to Scoop of the Crispy. Mike here, and we're going to be talking another movie scoop. So, here we go. We're talking Amazing Spider-Man 2 spoilers. So, if you haven't seen it, just stop. And I don't care. I don't care if you're like, you know what, like my buddy. He's like, I just listen to spoilers, I don't care. No, you don't. You do. It ruins it. Stop watching right now if you've not seen it. You are banished from watching this if you haven't seen it. And I don't care if you care or not. Okay, now that the disclaimer's out of the way, they did it. They actually, and I mean, it makes sense. It's the Spider-Man story, but like they actually, okay, so let me just tell you what I was doing during the movie. So I'm a big fan of the 1990s Spider-Man show. I remember watching that as a child and enjoying it. And I remember Spider-Man talking about the girl he used to like before Mary Jane. And I'm like, who is this? What? And he was like torn and he was heartbroken and he's like, how could I have let that happen? And I was like, what happened? And then he had flashbacks and it showed where Hobgoblin, Green Goblin's there by the bridge, and then Spider-Man goes to catch her, but he does catch her, but the force of gravity and the whiplash of her falling, of her, where am I going? Of her falling, and the webbing whiplashed, and it broke her neck as he grabbed her body back up, and then he like pulls her body and it's like limp and dead, and he's like, no. So yeah, I mean, that's crazy. That was in like a kid's cartoon. So as I'm watching Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I had heard rumors, and it's Gwen Stacy, and she came before Mary Jane, and the reason he's with Mary Jane is because Gwen Stacy dies. So I was just thinking the whole time, just like, she's gonna die. She's gonna die. And there's so many things that it hints at. It's like, first off, like her dad is like the ghost like haunting Peter, and he's like, stay away from my daughter or she'll die. Like, he doesn't talk, but like if he did talk, he'd be like, stay away from my daughter because she's gonna die. So stuff like that where there's like total things. Or what was it, there's like 5 different times where it's like, it's dangerous for you, you're gonna get hurt, oh this, oh that. And then she's like, I'm gonna go off to Europe. And then he's like, well, I love you, so I'm gonna go off to Europe with you too. And I was like, oh man, that right there. It's right there. He's not gonna go to Europe with you because you're gonna die. And then he has no other choice but to stay with his guilt and help save people. The one person he couldn't save was his true love. Yeah, that would suck, dude. That would mess you up big time. Really? Does he not see a counselor, a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever they're called? Does he not get like depression medication for this? Because that would really mess you up big time. But maybe because he has spider healing abilities, then maybe it heals his mental scars, his emotional scars, because that you cannot recover from that kind of emotional scar. Not that I would know, but I'm just saying, okay? So we get to the part with the bridge, and they're on the bridge, and I was like, they're on the bridge, something's gonna happen. And then they go to the whole electro thing battle at the end, which is awesome, by the way. And then she comes, and I was like, I knew it. And he's like, what are you doing here? You're gonna get hurt. And I was like, I knew it. And then they're fighting, and then like she kind of doesn't get, like, she falls and you're like, she's gonna get hurt, and then she falls again, and then she's like doing her thing, and then that's when it all began. And then I honestly didn't know. I was thinking, are they going to save her, like, because like nowadays people don't die in movies. Like, you have the heroes, and I didn't hear whether or not Emma Stone had actually been cast for the third movie, and I didn't hear that she had. So I was like, Something is amiss. Something isn't quite right. So she's holding on to his webbing, and he's trying to save her. And the webbing is getting closer to the gear. Where am I going? In the gear, and it snaps, and she falls, and it's a slow motion fall. Back, right? She's like, close the camera. She's like, and I was like, I knew it. That slow motion fall means she's dead, because you don't slow motion fall like that unless you're gonna die. The webbing slow motion through the gears, and I was like, oh, wait, is he gonna? Because I forgot that the gears were actually were not the gears, that I forgot that he had actually caught her in the original story. So you see the gears and 3D. I mean, seriously, go see it in 3D. It was awesome. It was so cool in 3D. The webbing going through the gears, and then it hit her, and I was like, oh, wait, is he gonna save her? But then as she keeps going farther and farther, the ground, and it's exactly like the comics and the cartoon. The whiplash. So he almost saved her. If he was like 2 feet, or heck, even a foot. So he goes, and she goes, bam, and she smashes her head into the ground, instantly killing her, smashing. The back of her skull probably dented in. There's like blood coming out of her nose. And she's gone. But like, man, it just slammed it, and then it just bounced her back up, and then she's like dangling there. That was good. That was way good. I was very impressed. That's the way you kill off a main character. No, I'm just saying, like, that was perfect. And sad. I knew it was coming. I knew. Like, the whole time during the movie. And maybe I'll be able to enjoy the movie now more, because, like, 90% of the movie, I'm just like, she's gonna die. She's going to die. She's dead. So I was just waiting. So now I'm gonna be able to watch it and just be like, wow, that was cool. Wow. And sad. I almost kind of cried. It actually was really sad to think, because they're a couple in real life, and if she really did die, that would be sad. So, and they did show it, like, and that's the other thing. They showed so much, like, of the lovey-dovey, happy, fun story together, where they're like, oh, we're in love, and yay, we're going to Europe together, and oh, I love you, and blah. That I was like, she's dead. They would not be showing this much character development and this much, like, oh, I love you, if she didn't die. What would have been even crazier is if Andrew Garfield died and then Gwen Stacy became Spider-Woman. That would have been even crazier, and very not possible, because that would not ever happen. But it could. Maybe in the reboot, in another 4 years, they'll do that. So now the question is, who's gonna be Mary Jane? Wait, did they already cast her? I think they did. Something like that. So we're gonna get a Mary Jane probably. Maybe, and Felicia Hardy, which I don't think that was really her, because I looked at the credits and it said Felicia. And I was like, Felicia Harding, Black Cat. But it didn't say anything. So maybe we'll get that. We'll see. So that was cool. Electro's special effects looked so cool and so real. I was so impressed with the way they showed Electro with his skin and everything. It looked so real. It looked like transparent skin with electricity going through it. It was so cool. I was very impressed. And the way he disappeared and reappeared as electricity in real life, that was so awesome. That was one of the coolest effects with electricity, like being able to do that I've seen. That was so impressive. I loved that. And maybe, 3D helped. It was cool. So, yeah. The New York Times Square battle, that was pretty sweet when everything exploded. I was impressed with that. So that's the thing. So the fight scenes were really awesome, they weren't quite long enough. They were kind of short, and especially Green Goblin, they totally. It wasn't as bad as Venom in Spider-Man 3, and it wasn't as bad as Iron Man 2 in Iron Man 2, but it did feel like they rushed Green Goblin or Goblin. What's his name? Hobgoblin, Goblin. It felt like they were like, okay, you got rid of Electro, we're good, we're done, and then they said, oh, that's right, we have to kill Glenn. We have to kill Gwen Stacy, and we need the Hobgoblin or Goblin, whatever. We got to bring him in. So they bring him in, and then they were like, okay, well, let's just remake this scene. It's just real quick. It's just a button scene. Just finish it up. Okay. Now she's dead. Okay, we're good. And that would have been fine. If they should have ended when she died at her. And that's the thing. I'm like, man, every Spider-Man movie ends in a graveyard with somebody dead. What was it? The first one was Uncle Ben. No, I'm just kidding. The first one was like the first original one was what's his face? Willem Dafoe. Norman Osborn. Oh, Norman Osborn died in this one too. That's funny. Norman Osborn. And then the second one was nobody. It could have been Doc Ock though. I mean, I guess they could have had like a, whatever they do when somebody drowns in an abyss of a warehouse falling in on you in the water and then your body goes under. Then the first one of the new ones was Gwen's dad, and then the second one at the end of that one was Gwen. So third one, who should we have? Nah. So that was funny. But then they kept going. That's the thing. It would have been great if they would have said, "Okay, look, we're done. We're done. That's all we're like. We end on a sad note. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy, sad story. Then you're done." But they wanted to show that there was another movie coming. They're like, you know what? We need to lead in to our next movie. So, we're gonna add an extra 5 to 10 minutes. That way everybody will know that you can expect more. So you're at the graveyard and just chilling, and it's sad, and he's there on each different season. And you're like, oh, he's there in the fall. Oh, he's there in the winter. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, I just scratched my leg. Ow, it's bleeding. Ow, what the heck? Yeah, and so then you're like, okay, it's still going. Like, what more can they do? Peter's done. She's dead. Like, what else are you going to show? So then all of a sudden, and it was cool. It was fine that they led into Harry. It was cool they showed Harry and that stuff. But what I think happened, they should have cut it off before the Rhino. And I know they wanted to show everybody like, oh, by the way, the Rhino is going to show up. And they wanted to show that something else, but it felt tacked on. It felt like, no, there you go. We're adding another movie. They could have showed Harry, and he said, hey, we have this, let's try the Rhino, this guy, boom, end. But instead, it's like, oh no, the Rhino's attacking. And then this little kid comes out, like, what? And the little kid's like, I'm Spider-Man. Where's my Spider-Man mask? I do have a Spider-Man mask around here. I bought in Chile, South American country Chile. I bought it in those streets there. And, yeah, maybe I'll have to, dang it, I should have worn that. And this little kid with his glasses like, I want my mask on. Hey, look at me. And And it's like, no, little kid, what are you doing? Seriously, that's like so annoying. And he's like, nah. And like, really, nobody can catch a little kid going past the line. A cop would grab him in 2 seconds and throw him back. So dumb. And then Spider-Man's like, hey, yeah, fist pump. And I was like, really? I have been watching, because that's the problem I had with the first movie. The problem I had with the first movie was Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker mumbling at each other. Hey, you want to go out? What are you guys doing? You're like, I don't know. Yes, college kids or high school kids talk that way to each other, but still. And then the scene with him like, oh, my legs hurt. Ah, my leg. And they're like, hey, call in Spider-Man. Call in my Spider-Man saved my son. So I'm best buddies with every crane operator that goes down a city block perfectly, and we're all going to set our cranes. That part just ruined it. I'm like, no, that's so stupid. So lame. So I'm glad they didn't have anything like that. But then at the end, the stupid little kid, and then Spider-Man's like, I'll take it from here. And then even then, they could have stopped it and been like, okay, we're done. Like, we're good. But he starts fighting him, and you're like, okay, that's cool. But I knew. I'm like, any second, because we've been going on too long. This movie's too long, and they added this scene. I know it's going to end at any minute. And then he throws a thing at him, and which, by the way, I think that was in the trailer, which was him with the manhole cover, and he smashes Rhino. I swear that's the exact scene. Very last scene, done. And I knew Rhino wasn't in it that much, but I mean, it would have been cooler if because a lot of the scene was Rhino staring at a little kid and being like, oh, you're tough. Why did you put that in? Cut that out and put Spider-Man fighting him and actually having a cool action scene instead of a stupid scene with a little boy being like, I'm Spider-Man, I put my mask on. I'm gonna stare at you. Like, what? Really? Okay, that's really dumb. So, that's that. And speaking of trailers, there's way too much. Like, it completely changed the story. That was so weird. It's not very often that you watch a trailer and it gives you a certain story, and then you watch the... Well, okay, it happens all the time. But not this bad. Like, it was crazy. So, you have... what was it? One of them was Norman Osborn talking to Harry and saying, Mr. Parker's gonna pay or something. He doesn't say that. Harry saying to Peter, yeah, Oscorp's been monitoring you. None of that. And, like, it completely changes the story where I'm like, okay, so Oscorp doesn't care about Peter in the movie. So why in the heck did it show it in the trailer? Or, like, I don't know. There's just a lot of things in the trailer where because usually there's bits and pieces that are in trailers that aren't in the movie. But this was, like, complete plot points that you're expecting in the movie, and you get none of it. So that was really weird. That was really, really weird that they did that. But, you know. So those are kind of a few things that I loved it because they went for it and they killed Gwen Stacy. They went all out. They're just like, boom, this is Spider-Man. This is how it works. Bam. So I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Go ahead and leave any questions or comments or any sort of Easter eggs or spoilers you want to talk about in the comments. And go ahead and follow me on like my page on Facebook, and follow me at Scoop of Crispy on Twitter. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you around with another movie scoop.